Okay, so it seems like we have a little bit of a situation going on with a VTuber called MiilkyWayz, who we covered before. There's been a ton of stuff that we covered on her before in terms of some Patreon stuff and her getting banned from certain platforms, and it was just being like completely unfair. But it seems that things have kind of at least gotten a little bit better for her now. But recently, she started up a conversation which I don't think she really wanted to start up in the first place, but it seems like we're just here now, and that's just what's happened. But essentially, she posted this over on her alt, saying something happened the other day. I went to the restroom. I went to the restroom the other day, and there was a man in there. And I got confused and double-checked the sign, then told the man, you're in the wrong restroom. And he just looked at me, smiled very creepily, and said, no, I'm not. Which obviously, very odd, right? And it seems like one of these clear cases of a creepy man going into a woman's restroom, whatever, and yeah, just being creepy, right? And again, obviously it sucks, and hopefully things were okay, and hopefully nothing bad happened, because of course it can be very scary, especially when it's whenever it's just you two, right? You never know what could happen, right? Obviously she puts down there saying, then I felt like dread in my stomach and left. I said, why is it like this? I needed to check something in the mirror where usually women are around. I don't mind like lifting up my skirt and making sure my pantyhose is okay. But how the hell am I supposed to do that with a man in there? And I think that's fair enough, right? 100%. There's a man in the woman's bathroom. Like, get out. Like, I think that's essentially, the end of it, right? I think it's weird. It's, he shouldn't be in there. And, obviously it's making her feel uncomfortable. And I'm sure if any other woman was in there, it'd make them feel uncomfortable as well, right? I think that's, fair enough. But essentially this has started up a whole conversation now surrounding kind of transgender stuff, because some people have been trying to give them the benefit of the doubt or whatever, I guess, by saying maybe they were trans. If not, then yeah, that's messed up. I'd report that to someone immediately. So again, some people were trying to say that essentially, this could have been a trans person in the bathroom or whatever. And obviously this has become a huge debate, for many years of whether they should be allowed or not within certain bathrooms of like the opposite gender or sex or whatever to the one that they transit. It's confusing, right? Because people don't really know, what to do in a situation like that. Now, of course, many people were trying to, make it seem like she was being transphobic or something. But from what I'm gathering from this, it was literally just legitimately just a man in there. It wasn't even like a, oh, they might, be they might be transgender or something. I think it was literally just the fact that there was literally a man in the bathroom, and he should have been in there, and it's a little bit weird, right? It's one of those things, and I don't know why people are trying to push this on that kind of stuff. And obviously she then actually puts up a reply saying sorry, which I don't think she needs to say sorry for this, because she said, I hope this does not make anyone upset. I just feel overwhelmed, and I want to talk about something that was very scary yesterday for a woman, especially in a park bathroom where there's no one to talk to or report to, and many crazy things can happen. So yeah, it seems like it was a pretty isolated space as well, which obviously is quite scary for her, which obviously, yeah, does suck. And it sucks that this has been kind of I guess taken in this way, right? People saying anyone who just watches and never gets involved in being against transgenderism, you'll eventually regret never saying anything as you find yourself in a world you're not comfortable in. Which obviously, I'm assuming what they're saying is like the fact that, oh, because you haven't been against transgender, people being in bathrooms and whatever, well, now you're feeling the kind of repercussions of not being against it because now they're in your bathroom. Which I guess, is understandable. But again, I do think it was legitimately a man in there, at least, I don't think she'll be one of those people that would, because obviously I know a lot of people like to call transgender people men or whatever, to kind of like get a rise out of them, or like to try and like upset them or whatever. But I don't think, MiilkyWayz isn't one of these people that do that, right? So if she says a man, I'm pretty sure she actually means a man, right? She also follows up saying, I'm not someone who hates or shames anyone at all, but danger in the world is still out there, no matter what, for both women and men. Please be careful out there. Do not put yourself in any risky situations. When you feel fight or flight feelings come in, do not ignore them. And obviously, a protestant, you did nothing wrong. Your concern is entirely valid. It's just a shame the world is insane, and the insane people feel a need to disagree with you. And yeah, I mean, there was also a couple of people that were going after her on the opposite end. Some people have been obviously saying like, this is what happens whenever you don't care about the politics and whatever, and you don't get involved in politics. This kind of stuff happens, which, as I said, is fair enough. But there's also the opposite end of things where people were trying to call her like transphobic and things like that because, oh, it's not a man, it's actually it's someone who wants to be a woman or whatever. And it's just like, okay, like it's still weird. Right, there is still this man stood in the bathroom, obviously being very creepy towards her, and I mean that's about it, right? So again, I don't know. It's one of these things that people, are very mixed about. People saying transgenderism doesn't care about women's safety, sadly, and this is proof of that. That I see people saying in here that think, oh no, I read that one before. It didn't really make sense to me. So one of the nicest, sweetest, softest women you'll ever meet, just experienced the thing that doesn't happen, and it's disgusting that she had to experience it. So yeah, obviously a lot of people supporting her as well, which is great. Saying the people in the comments have genuinely lost their mind. The thought of a man just being a blanky perv does not even occur to them. It has to be a trans woman. Which again, I think it is like, I don't know. It's one of these things where it's not even just like people. It's not even like people that are less necessarily against like trans people or whatever. I think it's like a mix of everybody. Like nobody, like I think everybody's confused, no matter whether you're for or against them being in the bathroom or not or whatever, right? I think a lot of people just like a little bit confused. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's weird. So this is why California attacks on 2A is an attack on women's rights. Then the reason why I hate the woke mob, they protect and entitle trans people and makes women feel uncomfortable. Which again, as I said, I don't think she ever actually really mentioned trans people within this, right? I think a lot of people have taken it to kind of start up a discussion about that, which obviously is something that what people will do, right? But I think trying to say that MiilkyWayz' situation, her situation in particular, that the example that she is giving was involving a trans person, I just don't think that's true. I think a lot of people are kind of ignoring what she is saying, and I think it is kind of weird because again, she's giving her own account of a story of a very creepy man within the bathroom who shouldn't have been in there. And people were trying to just make this about something that wasn't even involved in the situation, right? And again, I understand that there's going to be a lot of debates and stuff surrounding similar things to do with all the trans bathroom stuff, but maybe not so much on this example, right? Because of course it's her example and it's something that she's gone through, which obviously does suck, right? People say, just to put a different spin on it, I've been tasked with the janitorial job of cleaning a women's bathroom. I made sure to knock before entering, but if some apparently freakazoid came in saying you're in the wrong restroom, that I may respond with, no, I'm not. No, that's not true. That's not true. What? Again, I don't know why people are trying to defend the man in the bathroom. Like they're saying, oh, it could have been a cleaner. Like, no, if you're cleaning the woman's bathroom, right, you're gonna tell them, oh, sorry, I was just cleaning up. I'll leave for a minute. You go do whatever, and I'll come back in after you're done. Right? That's usually the kind of interaction you would have, or be like, oh, I'll just be 2 seconds. Just give me 2 seconds. I'll just finish this. Not, she came in saying you're in the wrong restroom, and then you're not going to respond with, no, I'm not. You're going to go, oh, no, I'm the cleaner. Sorry, like, I'm the cleaner. That's what you'd respond with. You're not going to go, no, I'm not. Like, because you clearly are in the wrong restroom if you were going to use it, right? I think it's kind of stupid. Some people try to, like, get them an out by saying, like, oh, they might be the cleaner. Like, no, they're not. Like, why would you just go, I'm the janitor? Like, what are you trying to defend here? And then put in the mop and bucket and patiently wait outside. No, like, bro, like, clearly there wasn't a mop and bucket as well, right? Sure, like, I think, even MiilkyWayz could have inferred that he was the cleaner if he had a mop and bucket right next to him, but I'm pretty sure she would have mentioned the fact there was a mop and bucket there, if that was the case, right? He said, yeah, that's a definite get out of here moment. Hope you feel better. Honestly, that is a moment to let the establishment know that you should have kicked his balls as soon as that, after the answer. Never fails. So gross. And yeah, obviously, I do think, a lot of people have been supporting her, despite a lot of the comments that have been, kind of popping up. But, so the only men allowed in the bathroom should be cleaners, maintenance, and dads who check if there's some creep waiting on the little girl, which obviously, I do think that's also true. There's also the factor of, sometimes dads go in there, whenever their kid needs to go to the toilet, but they don't want them to go in there alone or whatever. So they just kind of stand outside, right? Which of course is a lot different too. And I think it's kind of understandable. But again, as I said, these are all circumstantial things, like the janitor one as well. It's just like all things that she didn't mention at all whatsoever. So it clearly isn't the case. Else she would have mentioned that and wouldn't have had the same kind of experience, right? The dude was probably a creep and a weirdo, bad intentions. Hopefully you never have to experience that again. Which obviously, yeah, I do think all of this, you know, it sucks that she had to go through that. But I think what sucks more is, you know, a lot of people were taking it away from the original conversation that was going on, the fact that there was a man in the bathroom, and hopefully, it, you know, hopefully it just kind of, I don't know, I don't even know what to say here, because it's not one of these things where it's going to change, is it? It's just going to, well, I mean, it could change, but, you know, it's just society. Like, I don't know how to say it at this point. But I really hope that, you know, she's okay, and hopefully, I don't know, maybe she contacted, you know, the authorities or something about it. I don't know, but I don't really know what you could really do, right? Apart from, you know, get someone to leave. But hey, we'll have to see if anything else comes from that. But I don't think there will. I think it's just her giving a story. But yeah, obviously caused a lot of conversation, maybe not surrounding this conversation at all whatsoever in this example. So yeah, I mean, that's about it, right? If you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kazakh, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.